Hi there, politically incorrect gamer here with my absolute favorite game, Crusader Kings 2. I've probably spent over 2,000 hours on CK2. I've had it before it came out. It was released on a pirate version, and so I got that a week before, and then I was playing it since then, and it's been out, I think, since 2012 or so. It's my absolute favorite game of all time. It's just so in-depth, and there's so much to it. And the basic premise of it is that it's a political simulator. I've never played it online with other people, but I'd imagine that would make it even more intense, although a lot slower. The game is really slow as it is. I mean, I think, if you put 40 hours in, I don't think you'd probably finish a game. For this tutorial, I'm going to go with Ireland. Just the easiest way to do things. Probably even easier would be to go to some kingdom in England, but I just choose to make Ireland. Okay, so we'll go to single player. We'll go early Middle Ages, so we have the most time. Custom game setup. You can look at the map in a variety of ways. So this is the realms map, so each and every one of these is an individual realm. Like this will soon be the Holy Roman Empire. This is Italy. England is broken up into a bunch of petty kingdoms right now, and Ireland is just a bunch of counties. So we'll click on her main and be this guy. You can also look at the counts, which shows you the individual count. The dukes, so if you want to play this guy, you'd own all of this. And the kings. So this is a kingdom, this is a kingdom, this is a kingdom, this is a kingdom. This shows you the religions right now. So Catholic is the dominant religion in Western Europe. But there's the Muslims, which is relatively fractured right now. Shia hasn't come into the picture, but Shia is going to take over all of this. Huh, desert, I've never noticed that. We have India over here, and China's area, roughly over here, Russia. Culture. Irish, Anglo-Saxon, Welsh. Pictish is the Scots. And the governments. We start at as tribal and we move to feudal. So I'm going to start the game. Before we start, I'm going to play an Iron Man. That means that I cannot go back. I have only one save. I am going to turn off Shattered Retreat. It's off. Okay, I had to turn it off. I don't like it. Basically, it makes, when you're fighting a war, it makes the other side be able to retreat and run away. It's a longer game. But everything else is fine. And we'll just start another one. I'll even delete this. It doesn't matter. In Crusader Kings 2, you play as a succession of medieval rulers from a single dynasty. There is no set goal, but the world is filled with ambitious rivals. Secure more land to increase your power and protect your family. You cannot hold an infinite amount of lands yourself. To expand, you will need to rely on vassal rulers. Keep them happy with titles and gifts lest they decide to revolt. The game will end in 1452 if your line can stay in power that long, and it is 769. As a ruler, your first priority is to secure an heir. If you do not have legitimate heir, when your character dies, the game will end. Other pressing matters appear as alerts along the top of the screen. Crusader Kings 2 is a pausable real-time game. This means that you can issue commands both while the game is paused and while the clock is running. To pause or unpause the game, click the date in the upper right-hand corner or press the spacebar. Use the plus and minus symbols to speed up time or to slow it down. Crusader Kings 2 takes place on a fully 3D map. You can zoom in and out using your mouse scroll wheel. Holding down the scroll wheel and move lets you pan. You can always reset the map by pressing backspace. We have no special culture features. We are a tribal nation right now. And we are Catholic. Alright, so what we're going to do, I'll go through each of everything. In 1 second. I gotta get through this stuff from my screen. Alright. So your council screen is first. Your chancellor is your diplomat. The higher the values, the better they are at what they do. Let me just see if there's a better. No, there's not. In the early game, you have pretty low values. There's nothing you can do about it. Your chancellor can perform statecraft, which means that he's able to improve your diplomatic standing with another person. In this game, you will need, I guess, to make allies, and you do that by marriage. I'll get to that in a second, but it's pretty important, I guess, to always keep your standing up with the Pope, so a lot of times I'll just put them down there. Oh, never mind. Perform statecraft actually reduces your threat. So when I attack some other countries in succession, if I just keep attacking and attacking and attacking, your threat raises, and other counties and countries and kingdoms will form an alliance against you. And if you try to attack something again, they'll attack you and stop you. So that's what threat does. I've never really had to deal with threat. It's relatively new, but I've never dealt with it. I don't move that quickly. Improve diplomatic relations. That's you move it to another province and it helps you out. People will like you more. Fabricate claims. The only way to, it used to be the only way that you could attack a province was if you had a claim on it. Fabricate claims says that you have a claim on it. It's basically a lie. So you can go in, you can invade a province, you can try to take it over and acquire it for yourself. And so dissent, it's basically self-explanatory. You click on that and you click on a province that isn't yours, and it will try to eradicate a relationship between a vassal and their lord. And if you look at this number right here, that is how much this character likes you. So his opinion of you is 14. That's moderately okay. It goes from negative 100 to positive 100. And in your council, you pretty much only want to have positive people. However, as you expand, powerful vassals will want to be in your castle, in your council, and they might not like you. So he likes you because he doesn't like you because personal diplomacy. Apparently, my personal diplomacy score must be low. I have a relatively long reign. He likes that we're in Gavelkind succession right now, although we want to get out of that. I'll explain that in a second. He is the Chancellor, so he likes that. I don't even know what that means emphatically acknowledging. So this guy, the ruler, is zealous, and he likes that you're zealous. We are stubborn as a personality trait. We are cruel as a personality trait. He dislikes that. And apparently my character has a trait. You're erudite, and he likes that. This is the Marshal, and you'll notice this little blood thing over here. That means he is of your dynasty. That means he needs to marry and procreate, just in case you die and your heir dies. But there'll always be that male heir for you to succeed if the game doesn't end. Marshals control the military might of your empire or your domain. They directly affect the troop levels and combat strength. Although I don't think they fight in wars. I don't remember ever being able to appoint a marshal to an army. He's 10, so he's considered a competent commander, but again, you want this as high as possible. Let me see if there's any higher. There is not. And you sort it by that. So that's the lowest, that's the highest. Again, early game, you're not going to get that much. Organize the army, reduces maintenance costs. Suppress revolts. If there's a revolt or potential to be a revolt, say you just invaded a Muslim province, you can click on him and say suppress revolts. Train troops is what I usually put my marshal to do. Oops. So you click on that and then you click on your province and it will... This increases your levy size, so you get more troops. And it's pretty important for him to do that. Organized raid, that'll spawn raiders, and you can go as a tribal army, and you can just go around raiding people. I don't generally do that. It's not that great. It reduces your relations with other countries, and you don't get that much. The Vikings do it a lot, and if you want to play Viking, you can do that. They run around raid and pillage. Your steward is in charge of the money, the income of your domain. And it's very important, that you have money. He's 18, so he's very, very good. Actually, I think like 20 is the highest or something, or about the highest. So it's pretty good. And his functions, he administers the realm. Apparently, he can improve dements. You can settle the tribes. So say if this culture wasn't Irish, it is Irish, but you can make that Irish culture if you put it like that, so it's pointless right now. Oversee construction, it reduces the build time, and build legend increases your prestige, which is over here, and it has the potential to raise an army. Your spy master is your information gatherer. If there is a plot that wants to kill you, he will prevent it, but he has to like you, and I would probably want even more than 7. If this ever falls in the negative, you are in serious trouble, because if somebody's trying to kill your character and it's negative, he'll probably help. But you want that. More important than this number for Spy Master, you have to have a high opinion. So I'm not going to reduce it right now because it's early game, so people typically aren't going to try to kill you, but he's the person to prevent it. Schemes, what it's naturally ought. That means that it helps his discovery chance of plots. Now, if he likes you, he'll tell you a plot against you. If he doesn't, oh well. You can also use him to gather information about plots, to stop plots against your family members, to imprison people, and then once you imprison them, you can collect money for their release. And that's it. Sabotage province, you can go to an enemy province and you can sabotage the defenses and things like that to help you win a war. I don't really use that, it's not that great. Build spy network. It will help you in your own plots. So you might want to kill somebody. This spy network will help you do that. It will give you a 5% increase. I'm pretty sure that number might change as that goes higher or lower. Maybe even as that goes higher or lower. I don't know. But that's okay. And study technology. You can send him to a faraway realm to study the technology of that realm, and your technology speed increases. That's actually kind of important sometimes, but I prefer to have my spy master learn about plots. That's pretty much what he does. Or she. That's the only position that you can naturally have a woman in. So you can have your wife if she accepts, your mother. Court chaplain is the priest of the high priest of the realm. And so, and this one's Sabine. He's 17, which means he really much knows what he's talking about. Hunt apostates. I don't keep them as that because what happens is he'll just randomly get bored and decide that a courtier of yours is into heresy and you have to burn him. And if you don't burn him, then you suffer a huge relations loss with the church. It's not worth it. So I just go to... well, the option isn't here because we're in a tribal, but I do something else. But we'll do something else. So improve religious relations. I'll go down here. I'll send him to Rome to improve relations with the papacy. The Pope is very important in the game, and it's very important that he has a high opinion of you. That's fine. Minor titles, we'll go through this. Designated region is if you die and your heir is young, this person will look after the realm. If you give it to them, they suffer. They get a bonus to you. They like you more if you put them. The court physician is a doctor. We'll put him as a doctor, and I think he'll like that more. Yeah, he liked that. That gives you +10 relations with him. These things don't actually matter. Master of the Horse, Master of the Hunt, High Almoner, Cupbearer, Court Tutor, they don't matter. But it's important, say if you want to raise your relations with a character, if you give them a title, they'll like you more. Military commanders command during battle. But I really don't know. They give you, it gives you more of an opinion. You have to pay a little bit of money. They get prestige too. Really, it doesn't. I mean, that's minor, small thing. Doesn't matter. This shows you the council, what we saw over here in positions, just what their political views are. We have no one who loves you. Loyalists will support you pretty much no matter what, except if you want to hurt them. Pragmatist says they want to strengthen the realm and gain power for themselves, but they don't want to really, get into wars that they can't win. Glory Hound will want the biggest wars I can get into. So say if I'm a count and this over here is a kingdom, they'll want to go fight this, even though it's improbable that we win. It doesn't matter because it's glorious. Zealot is just that. They're in this situation, they're a Catholic zealot. They want to do whatever will improve the Catholic standing. So these over here, the Germans, these are the Vikings. They would want to go and invade the Vikings because they're not Catholic. They would very support that because they're zealots. And then there's the malcontent, which do not like you, and they will dissupport you. They'll try to stop you and thwart your plans wherever possible. We're going to go here. We're going to see who's the malcontent. It's the marshal and the court chaplain. I don't know. So laws. Inheritance is pretty important. Right now we have cognatic Gavelkind. I probably mispronounced that entirely. But Gavelkind says that instead of one direct ruler, if you have more than one children, your titles will be divided amongst them. You see the problem there. You're not getting all of your power. You have to, say if you have 2 sons and I have all these, your second son will get 1 or 2 provinces and you'll get the main title. So in order to get this back, you have to declare war on him. And it leads to a succession crisis. It's pretty bad. There's better options. So we want to probably go to Satanistry, and then we'll go to Elective. And I'll explain more of that when it comes. These are the realm laws. You can control the status of women, and traditional says that women are prohibited from holding all job positions. Some government types will be restricted to agnetic inheritance laws. And you can increase this over time, or you can leave it alone. Revoke title is something you want to click allowed as quickly as possible. It lets you revoke a title of a vassal. When you revoke a title of a vassal, you do get a negative opinion all around. So all of your vassals don't like that if you don't have a legitimate reason to do it, but sometimes you have to. The administration laws, how things are governed. So we're at feudal right now. I'll get more to that later. Doesn't really matter, to be honest with you, not now. Anyway. The taxation matters. I try over the course of the game to get as much money as possible from these people, even the people who don't like it. So nobles prefer to pay money, and they don't want to give you army. So again, on the left is money, on the right is the army levy, so how many troops they give you. Nobles want to give you money, and they'll get happy if they get to give you money, but they don't want to give you an army. The burghers, the city folk, they want to give you an army, and they don't want to give you money. The church does not want to give you money or army whatsoever. They want to be left alone. Tribal, you don't really have to worry about that because you're not probably going to own any tribes. It just goes to feudal pretty quickly. And we have no council laws right now other than that when we do. Your technology level increases over the course of the game. Obviously things don't stay in the technology level of 769 forever, and things have to progress. For the military advances, I try to stick to military organization as much as possible. Heavy infantry is also important. Siege equipment after that, and shipbuilding is kind of sort of important, but not really. As long as your vassals build the ships, you could just use theirs. Excuse me. For economy advances, The most important thing as a feudal ruler is for castle infrastructure and church, and it improves keeps, because both of these will help you generate income, and you need income. Remember, I said money is very important. It is. In culture advances, I tend to stick to legalism, which gives you legal inheritance rights, and there is majesty as well, which helps you increase piety. But noble customs too, rather. Sorry. Noble customs, because this helps you improve the relations with your feudal vassals, and that's very important. The military tab shows you how many troops you have. You have 528. You can also see how many troops other people have by clicking on their land and then their portrait. So this guy has 492. You're roughly matched. But you go down here to the Kingdom of Middle France, Francia, and he has almost 3,000 troops. He would absolutely beat the stuffing out of you. Now, numbers aren't everything. I have seen sometimes when you have 3,000 men and the enemy has 1,000 men and they whip you hard. And that's where that military stat comes in, but still, you know, you want to have equal footing as much as possible. We have no vassals right now, so we're not getting any troops from the vassals, but this is over time where you're going to get the majority of your troops, even if you focus more on money. Hired, that determines how much mercenaries you have, and you can quickly release your mercenaries like this if you're running out of money. Just click on this button right here. Currently, you only have one vassal. It's the bishop, and he's got no troops. I think the max he says is 117, and he likely will only provide 59. He doesn't really like you that much. He only likes you 14. The more a vassal likes you, the more troops you have. The less he likes you, the less troops he's going to provide. You can hire a mercenary company. They are relatively expensive, especially in the beginning of the game, especially for, say, a count. But you can hire them. And they provide 1,000. The cheapest, there's 1,500. Now, you want to focus on the heavy infantry. They are the damage dealers, and they don't really die. So that's pretty much where you want to focus. Retinues. Over time, you will be able to create your own standing army. I know this sounds weird because in modern times we only have our own standing army, right? It's standing army of the country, but that's not the way it was during feudal times. There was no standing army. They were just knights that were, that existed. They practiced, but they were they're just the generals pretty much, and the lieutenants, the commanding officers, and then the rabble, the peasantry fought, but they were not standing. They did not go, day in, day out and practice. But over time, you can create your own standing army. That's what a retinue is. And fleets, that shows you the boats. We'll get into that when we need to have it, but I'm not going to get into it right now. Because right now, in Ireland and England, you can just walk over there. You can walk over there. That's why I chose this. It makes it very easy. But if you want to go invade a Muslim country, or if you want to go on crusade in Jerusalem, you will need boats. Now, the way that the Europeans did it back in the day is they would assemble here, they took a boat over here, they walked literally down to here, and then either ferried over or so on and so forth. Now, they don't really enforce that in the game. You can literally just get in the boat and get ferried down there. We're done talking about everything. Okay. Holy orders over time. You're going to be able to hire a holy order just like you would be able to hire a mercenary, except instead of paying in money, you'll pay in piety, and they will not fight a Christian force. They will only fight a non-Christian. So they're great in crusades or something if you want to bulk up your force to help you win a certain area. We'll get that over another time. We don't have to go to crusades right now. And this shows your allies in a war. Okay. Intrigue. So this shows you the available plots you have and all sorts of decisions you can have. Like once you get to 500 prestige, once this hits 500, you can raise your own tribal army, which gets you 2,500 light infantrymen for very cheap. But you have to have 500 prestige to do it, and you have to fight to get prestige. So it's not something you can do immediately. Over time, we'll adopt feudalism. We'll go to this list. There's a whole bunch of things we have to do before that. But we'll get that in time. We'll promote a commander if you don't have anything. Invite a holy man of court if you don't have one. Invite nobles to court. This costs money. Present debutantes. Those are women you could marry and have children with of noble birth, so you don't have to take so much of a reputation hit. And things like compose book. I don't really know. You have a lot of learning, and you have to have money to do it. Okay, well, we'll worry about that when it comes. Hold a feast helps people like you. Hold a summer fair helps people like you and reduces. I thought it reduces revolt risk, but I guess I'm wrong. We'll talk about the Jewish merchants momentarily, but you can get money from them. And when you get money from them, the church doesn't like it because the church at this time frowns against borrowing. So it doesn't matter. We'll just get the money. And we can repay it, or we can expel the Jewry. And I guess you can guess which one we're going to do. Search for a smith. You can get weapons. I don't know if you can get armor yet, but I know you can get weapons. I'll worry. I've never actually gotten a weapon. I'll worry about that in some other. I mean, I've gotten weapons like, acquired on the field of battle or through inheritance or something like that, but I've never made it. So they're very expensive. Buy indulgence for my sins. So at this time in the Catholic Church, you didn't just go to a priest and ask for a confession. I mean, you could, but typically they don't. You actually buy a confession. Say, I'm sorry, and here's money. And it's a lot of money, and the church does like it a lot when you do that. And then, again, you can expel the Jewry, and you get all their money. So right now, you gain gold, and you lose prestige, and your tax goes down for a while, your diplomacy goes down for a while, but then you expel them. That's pretty sad, and that's actually what the countries did. Factions. So if you're extremely disliked, rulers will form factions against you, and they'll try to get other rulers in there, and then they'll go into a revolt. Right now, you're pretty much liked, and then also you're not big enough to have factions. But religion shows the Catholic Church, or whatever heresy you believe in, or whatever else. But we'll just say Catholic. It makes things a lot easier. Right now, the Catholic Church has a moral authority of 72.4. If this increases, it means that their strength increases. If this decreases, it means their strength goes down. You can influence the Catholic Church by supporting your own candidate, but you have to pay for that, which costs a lot of money. If a family member of yours becomes Pope, you get a lot of prestige. But again, I typically don't even bother with this. Once I become emperor, I just go and I take over the papacy, and I make him a vassal, and you can just get money like that, and so on and so forth. But you can appoint a successor, but it doesn't mean that he's going to listen, because right now he likes the Pope 42 and you 14. So he's going to take his orders from the Pope. Now there's laws as you get bigger that will prohibit you from appointing a successor. So, and then the last is societies. You can join a religious society, the Benedictine Order, the Dominican Order, Hermetic Society, and there's also Lucifer's Own. Now this is a bit of historical nonsense, and also it adds a little bit of RPG-ish, to the game. If you go join Lucifer's Own, for example, there's a way for you to kind of live a long, long time or something. You live much longer than you would automatically. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm not going to really even use the orders. You don't have to use them. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so this are the alert panel. You have to deal with these. I didn't even start the game yet, so we're stuck in 769 and pause. So the ruler is unmarried, you need to get married, and you need to procreate. If you do not get married and you do not procreate, your line will die, you will lose the game. So there's no point in that. I try to get the youngest but adult. So this is 16, but if you marry her, you'll take a negative 98 penalty, because she is not actually in a feudal society. She is in the Italian city-state of Venice, which is not feudal. It is a merchant republic. Merchant republics which focus on getting money. And we don't want to do that. So we'll keep moving on. So this chick is 14. We get one prestige, which is nothing, and they will marry you to her. Is there anything wrong with her? I don't know. Hold on. She's haughty, and she likes God. So you're both zealous, so you'll get along. We'll just say we'll get married. You can pick your character focus, and it's important for you to do so. He's got 0 diplomacy, which is garbage. I'm going to, and I namely in the beginning, always focus on war. It increases your martial, which is very important in the beginning. And this even, because we do this, this also increases over time. Let me go through the stats. This is your own personal diplomacy. This is your diplomatic rating. It proves how charismatic you are. This guy knows jack shit about diplomacy. Basically, he's King Baratheon in Game of Thrones. So he's a militant ruler. He's going to get even more. So that's at 8. That's at 2. Your stewardship is at 2. Your intrigue is at 7. And your learning is at 7. Your personality... So you were an intricate web weaver. That's not good for a ruler. I'd much rather him have a militant education. So when you do have a child, we're going to have to get an Irish person to teach him, so he learns the militant background. This is zealous, which means he hates other religions. Literally, he will hate somebody because they're, say, Jewish. Stubborn, he refuses to change his ways. He's cruel, which gives you certain options in chance events, like you can, hurt somebody in a dungeon. And erudite, which means that he is scholarly. His father's dead, his grandfather's dead, relations. He has no friends, he has no rivals. He's gonna marry that chick, and he'll have marriage ties from that, and he doesn't love anybody, which means there's no opportunity for him to produce a bastard. Excuse me. Again, 1 vassal. This tab shows you how many people you have in court. You have 14. This tab shows you any kind of pact you made with other people, which you do via the marriage of your heirs. If I want to marry, say, this ruler's daughter to my son, or this woman's son to my daughter, that's how you create pacts. And this is like your people abroad, I guess. Doesn't matter. This negative thing is I owe 350 to Jewish moneylenders, so people in the church do not like me. -10 right now because I took out the money, but we are going to need that. So I'm going to just let it go for a few days. The time has started, and it's very, very slow. I'm not going to increase it. I'm going to wait till I hear back, and then I'm going to pause. From the marriage proposal. He will accept, but... So, blessings upon you and your house. I decided to accept your suggestion between chief and let's do that. So she is a daughter of a bishop, which is funny. Yeah, that's true. Back in the earliest days of the Catholic Church, I don't know if they get married, but they had kids. It's pretty funny when you marry the daughter of the Pope. That's really weird. That's super weird. All right, I'm gonna pause it again. So we are now engaged. That's how engagement happened back then. So when she turns 16, you get to marry her. Now, in truth, back then, that was a bit silly. So this is your heir right now. He does not like you. That means he's likely going to plot against you. But there's nothing you can do about that right now. He also needs to get married. So we will marry him to this person, and he'll get -100. Now, it's good if we live, and if it's bad if we die. But we'll do it. Because you don't like me. So I make you lose prestige. And we'll wait to hear back from that. And we collect money. So either we get prestige or we get money. I'd rather the money, so we'll say yes, give me money. Basically, you consider that a dowry, I guess. And we have an ambition, so we can become exalted among men. We can become the king of Ireland. We can see the realm prosper. We can groom an heir. Now, I'm going to say just become the king of Ireland because that's what I want to do. I want to literally run around and become the king of Ireland. I don't care about anything else. So we do need the designated region in case anything happens. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make your chancellor the designated region. It will make him happier. Happy chancellor is good. I'm going to go ahead. I'm also going to put a fabricate claim on your on the duchy title in your domain. So we realms over here, kingdoms. The de jure kingdom. So this is the kingdom of Ireland. If you have more than 51% of that, you can create the kingdom of Ireland, and then other people will try to support you or not, and you can fight them for that. So before we get to the kingdom of Ireland, we need a duchy. Okay, wait, I didn't put that in. Where's the duchies? Hold on, sorry. Give me a second. It's been a little while since I played this game. Okay, these are duchies. Alright, so this is the Duchy of Munster, and you need that to progress. It's pretty much a good idea if you only keep one duchy and then all the counties in that duchy. It just makes it easier, and then if you give that to other people. So we are now waiting to get a title so we can invade. We can just invade anyway, I think, but I think that gives you... I'm not going to actually declare war, I just want to see it. The Ducal Conquest, we lose 100 piety. So if we want to do both, then we'll have to lose 200 piety. Border Dispute. We also lose 100 piety, but this also we lose 100 gold. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'll have to wait for... I'm just going to wait for the... Chancellor. And one person lacks child focus. He is male and he is of your dynasty, so I don't even care if he doesn't want to. I just make him go for struggle, which means that he's going to try to fight. And we're going to progress, and we're doing nothing right now, so we're going to progress at a faster rate. So these events happen to make the game not as boring, and so... This one says, the abbot of a nearby monastery has asked to make sure donation towards the repairs of modern church. Surely it wouldn't hurt to ensure that you are in the monk's prayers. Gods know I will support a church, or sorry I can't spare the gold right now. I'll say I can't spare the gold right now. You're at 13 piety. You gain 1 piety a month. So in 6 months you'll be back to okay. That's fine. Can't change. See, you're already almost there. Time's going by really fast, so... Now, as time progresses, your ruler will age and die. And then the heir comes in. Or he can be killed in battle, or he can be killed through health reasons, or he can be killed through assassination. In my studies of warfare, I've come to realize that clever tactics on the battlefield is only part of the story. There are other disciplines of equal importance. Inspire men and they will invade hell for you, and that gives you inspiring leader. It's not glamorous, but wars are won through sieges, and that gives you siege leader. Armies must move with speed, and that gives you organizer. Men fight, but God decides who wins, and that gives you holy warrior. Now, you're not really going to be fighting many heathens, so this is kind of useless to you right now. There are times where you will be going on crusade, and that's very important. That gives you plus 30%. That's amazing. This makes you faster, and that's not bad, but, you know. Sieges are an important part of warfare, so this is important. But I'm going to go with inspiring leader. That gives you, important things all around. So I chose inspiring leader. So we have a new heir. He was this guy. Your heir was murdered by somebody. I don't know who the hell he murdered by, but somebody didn't like him, and so he got killed. So this is now your heir. And so we're now going to make sure that this guy gets married. He can even marry the old chick. That's fine. He's 22. She will produce heir. When you marry a woman, you have to make sure that the age, the lower the better. Just like in real life, right? That's bullshit. Nobody would bullshit. But, so you also have to go in here because it's part of your dynasty. It's good that if he marries somebody. So she's 17, married to him. Let's look at the court. This guy is of your dynasty, and he needs to get married, but there's only babies right now because we just started the game. It doesn't matter. In game, have to make sure they get married to whoever. He's 10. I'm doing this because these people are part of your dynasty. And they all accept, they will all get married. Oh, so this guy killed him. I don't know why. People don't like each other in the game. They just like form enemies and then not like each other and then move to try to kill each other. We can imprison him because he is a kin player. But to be honest with you, he has nothing. Like if he had a lot of gold, we can imprison him and kick him out and take his gold. But it really doesn't do anything. And he can create little heirs. So I'd rather him do that. I'm unmarried right now, and she is of age. So we will go in, and we now are going to get married. Okay, so we're now married, and she likes you 9. The higher she likes you, I think the more chance you have for getting children. I think I heard that. I don't know, but it does get you a better life. Now, you could potentially love each other, but that's not what marriages were for back in this day. So it was purely for political purposes and for the breeding of children, noble children. All right. Let's see. We're going to keep going on. Whenever we see somebody in a black shawl, it really makes me worry because that could sometimes mean they're with that Lucifer cult. And you don't know. So your court chaplain is saying that the Pope likes you more, which is good. So he likes you 34. Over time, you can ask him for money, but you can't ask him for money right now. Let's see, request money. You can't do that. Because you need piety. Alright, so this Dongus, your heir, has created a son, which is good. Now we are going to struggle. History is a subject that has always fascinated you, and you have spent the last few weeks studying the campaigns of Alexander the Great. There are many lessons to be learned from his conquest in the East. So you study it, and you gain 1 marshal. Because again, we are focusing on war, right? That's good. We are literally just waiting for that. And you can see because we focused on war, our troop levy increased from 500 to 700. The day the earth shook. This is actually pretty... So again, part of the chance is that you have events. This was an interesting one. The earth shook, the people screamed, and buildings cracked. A cloud of foul-smelling air swept over the village, making torches and fires burn bright green for several hours. It took a couple days repairing the cracked buildings and salvaging items from the few older houses that had collapsed. Luckily, everyone escaped unharmed. I slowly walked through the city, examining the buildings and noting what remained to be repaired when an excited peasant approached me. Without bothering with formalities, he told me about a giant crack in the ground just outside his farm. He wanted me to come and inspect it, and perhaps determine what to do about it. I say, why do you bother me? Which is he minus piety and general piety -2. Or, of course, show me the way, peasant. Which means they still don't like you, but at least we, the gate of hell. The foul smell that had swept over the city the day the earth shook slowly crept on us and I retched involuntarily. The wound that had burst open in the farmer's field spewed fire and brimstone, and we stopped, aghast at the sight. The flames and fiery stones threatened the bare ground around the gap. The farmer was lucky his fields lay fallow. We can say it's just a hole in the ground and that stops it, or I must take a closer look at this. So let's take a closer look at it. The tormented souls of hell. Wailings, screams, and cries for help seemed to emit from the burning gap. The farmer grew pale and refused to take one step further. I walked as close to the hellhole as I dared and tried to peek down. Apart from the occasional fiery stone and eyebrow-licking flame, I could see nothing. The wailings and screams seemed to increase until it felt as if my head would explode. I stumbled backwards, felt the ground shifting beneath my feet, and would have fallen into the pit if the farmer hadn't grabbed my arm and pulled me away from it. It's just a hole, right? Or I need this gap closed now. Close the gate to hell. I gave the wisest men and women of my court 3 days to come up with a solution on how to close this gap that seemed to open the whole way to hell. Within 3 days, they all had thought up different solutions to the problems. Exorcism. Feed it cattle or try filling it with stones. Now, because he is a zealot, we'll try exorcism. Exorcism. The priest walked several times around the gap, sprinkling holy water and chanting the words, Vedi Retro Santa, Vedi Retro Santa, avoiding the fiery stones and flames spewing from the gap as best he could. At the end of the third turn, he knelt and began praying. The only words to be heard, Vedi Retro Santa. I think this will work. 90% it will, 10% it won't. So we say it will work. It worked. The gap finally closed. No more fiery stones and flames. No more wailing voices from the underground. The priest did a fine job. So we get +5 learning, +3 opinion, and +5 temple opinion. Because we use them. I don't know what the hell that is, to be honest. I guess it's an earthquake and people fell in and died, so they died over the course of 3 days or something. I don't know. Who knows? But events like that happen from time to time. Child lives in educational focus. Again, Marshall, because he's of your dynasty. So he can be an aspiring leader. He can teach it to other people. That's fine. You could also... You can make a move on your courtiers. She's married the old dude. You get piety if you don't. I'll just say it's not appropriate for this. We don't have to get into bastards right now. So we don't, you know. But it's pretty funny to mess around with that. After many months studying the campaign of Alexander the Great, you've acquired many fascinating insights and gained new wisdom in military matters. You realize the art of war my people are studying. I shall be a master of strategy. Upon the conclusion of a long council meeting, you decide to make a toast. Of course, one toast eventually becomes many, and time seems to slip away. Later, as you leave the council chamber, you stumble and fall on your face. You can feel the taste of blood in your mouth and dizziness setting in. So there's two options you can choose. You can choose help, and hopefully someone will get to you. And that can mean that either the person is going to help you and not even ask for anything, help you owe them a favor, or you yell for help, somebody comes, and then they get everybody else to make fun of you. Or no need to draw attention to yourself. I'll just say no need to draw attention. And so we are now wounded. We have a wound, we did not die, but we got hurt. And we can heal that over time. Sometimes they leave scars, and scars improve your monthly prestige. Because apparently a king should have scars. Now, terrain is key to winning battles. We're going to say forest and hills are your domain, because most of Ireland is in forest and hills, but not mountains. And you can die from that wound, by the way. It can be affected, and you can die. It does happen. I don't think it will happen here, though. Your age matters in that regard too. So he is right now 42 years old. That is pushing old for medieval times for a man. The woman can live much longer. So your wife is now pregnant, and in 9 months she's going to have either a little baby boy or girl or stillborn, or the baby might die after. We'll figure it out. So she's not going to combat, but she's pregnant, and also we like her more when she's. Alright, so we now have a son. Good. So we are going to make him a warrior from birth, kind of like a Spartan. It's a woman, and she is of your dynasty, but it really doesn't matter. Just do etiquette, so diplomacy. Group diplomacy. Okay, so we're just zooming through time. So, a group of robbers called themselves Abandoned Brothers have been brought before me. The long list of their crimes does not put them in a good light. Why should I care about some petty thieves? You lose 5 prestige. They will pay immersement, and this guy gets you +10. We'll say such crimes will not go unpunished, and then we'll get the diligent. And diligent is good because it gives you everything +1. And people like you. Your traits really matter in the game. A new bird has arrived in the Muse, and a new book on the art of writing poetry is in the library. We'll say I should take her out for a hunt. Rabbit after rabbit was caught, killed, and brought to me by my new bird, and he likes this. And her father was executed by the king of Middle France, and now he controls all of France and most of Germany too. That will become the Holy Roman Empire. Falconers improve diplomacy. Soldiers say no one matters. Your wife is pregnant again, and if she has a son, it will be kind of annoying. So we kind of hope that she has one boy, one girl, or multiple girls, but only one boy. And we'll just make this etiquette, so hopefully she can get some diplomatic skill. So you remember that we got wounded, so it healed and left behind a scar, and the scar gives you +10 monthly prestige. My court physician, he wants money basically. And you can either pay him 20 gold, or I'm already paying him, aren't I? Greedy ledge. Uh-oh. So this person... Okay, so the peasants are revolting in this county. And there's 2,000 of them. That's a lot. We wouldn't be able to support a revolt like that. So the Pope likes to use some more. We can now request money, but he's not going to do it because we have a law called free investiture. We have to change that when we become a duchy. We can't change it now. So the peasants revolted and they have acquired the title. You can see that he is a peasant leader, meaning and once you become a peasant leader, he actually becomes a nobilized. Because it's so cheap, we'll adopt the idea. I'm not spending the money because we need it to fight the war. Alright, so we got stressed. That's not good. That could lead to a heart attack. There's no way around it. I like it if your heir is an adult before you die. It's actually the same. so this guy is much better at diplomacy. We're going to bring him over here. We're also going to award him the honorary title. Ah, sure. For the horse. So now he likes C14. That's good. Lacks so we're going to say diplomatic education, because again, am I throwing on all days? So we're trading more. That's what it's saying. This is just a random event. And you won the game, so you can now get the strategist. So he's 15 military. She's pregnant again, which is likely not good. Hedge Knights, we will welcome them with lavish feast and we will various. And we will put them on their way. We have another son now, so that's not good. So he is a sickly child, he may not live. But if he does, he gets to fight. So we now have that alright, so he died. He died of severe stress. Basically a heart attack. So we just got the title, but now we have to do it again. Because he died. There's no way around it. And I'm going to give money to the... And also... Now he is over 6 years old. So we can assign him a guardian or a tutor. Now what I'll be doing is, so this is 14 and he's Irish. It also increases his opinion of you. He's your marshal. We want that military education, right? Oh, your sister. You don't want a female hair. That's pain. By the way, your brother. Oh, he died sickly. Okay. I'm sick and tired of being called out for playing takes pleasure. My tormentor is able to sniff me out and find me wherever I try to hide. I don't know anything about it. Well, we're going to fight back. And they're going to become rivals, but there's nothing we can do about that. Okay. So we're going to use it, get the claim on it. We can't fight. We're not likely to go to war right now because we're in a regency. You don't really typically fight regencies. So, again, remember when I said that we had I forgot to do it. He's saying that your marshal is an apostate. There are many conservative peasants claiming that children are being played by nightmares of this man. He is obviously a warlock. What shall be done with him? So we can burn him. We can throw him in the dungeon, and he becomes excommunicated. We can bring out the banding iron, which means he's free, but he's excommunicated. Also, then he hates you. Yeah, you just become like... But we'll just say let him go free, because I don't really believe he's a warlock at all. I think that this guy is just nuts. I forgot to send him down to Rome. And that is kind of annoying that he does that. Now he doesn't like me. It doesn't really matter. There's a big dinner feast tonight with many prominent people invited, and it said, I shall perform a song and praise God for the guests. No way, or yes, and you get piety for it. So yeah, we do it. and they can marry. We should be getting a whole thing. After the ruler dies, the council becomes discontent. While they're on the council, they typically, in a lot of governments, cannot form civil wars against you. That's why you want your most powerful people in a council. They can't really conspire. Sometimes they can, a lot of times they can't. So after you die, or after the ruler dies, then they can conspire for a period of time. It was a delight tormenting my rival, Quan, calling Quan the cowardly, chicken, other epithets. And if that didn't work, punches, kicks, or destroying his things. He was easy prey, and then he punched back. So you're just building up rivals left and right. Not like it. I don't get along with people. So the Shia is born in Muslim world, and that's just what it's saying. Now, roughly this area becomes Shia in real life, but we'll see what happens in the game. So your favorite hat is now can't fit, so we'll just give it to somebody younger. So we have a whole bunch of people who can get married. This person's your sister, and we'll just say because she has two, we'll make her a money person. We can imprison him because he was found. He's been a branded apostate. Ouch. And he has been excommunicated. I didn't excommunicate him. I let him go. So we don't have. He was really done something bad. But he can still teach you, so no matter. Oh boy. I always get compliments for my fair skin, my silken hair, and my big eyes. They tell me I am beautiful, and I should be proud of my looks. I am the fairest of them all. We're going to make him have a military education because we really need a strong military. Oh, we're now cynical. That Mr. Church really not like you. So somebody had a son, and they become a warrior. So we cannot go against the will of the council right now. They do not want you to imprison this guy for whatever reason. He wants me dead. We can say end plot. And we have a rash. We lose the rash. Yes, we get some things from her market. Easy money. Yeah. There are a few. I'm not a helper. Not a servant. I'm a king. Or a chief right now, but I will be king. Kang. We was Kangs. So your mother becomes a regent. Not a bad thing. Pretty cool. This guy's still gonna be the guardian. So you hate the shit out of him, but he's okay with you. I don't know why he hates him. Your sister's gonna get diplomatic education. The Pope is okay with you. This is interesting. I'm having these special feelings for a special someone lately. The strange urges to find myself embraced and close to another person. If I could only find myself alone with either the carpenter's daughter, the furrier's apprentice, which gives you the trait homosexual, or no, I'd better keep these thoughts for myself. And so if you get homosexual, you get minus 15 fertility. If there's somebody else is gay, he likes you plus 30. And if your vassals just don't like it. So I'm just going to go the carpenter's daughter. Because I'm cis. Alright, so now we have the old now. After weeks of waiting for the right opportunity, I find myself behind the barn alone with the carpenter's daughter that my heart has been longing for. My palms are sweaty and my chest is pounding. Declare my eternal love for her and I get chased. Kiss her on the cheek, or suggest a secluded cuddle inside the barn. I think we're going to be lustful, which actually isn't that horrible. I mean, the church hates you more, but they're all going to hate you because you're a cynic. So the lust is just going to improve your chances of having kids. He needs to hurry up. Oh, hello, never mind. Women do not interest me. I instead feel drawn to other men. I like them more, and he's homosexual. So he's become a homosexual on his own. Nice. Well, the church really will hate you. There's no other way around it. Alright, so we lost your steward, we lost your marshal. That's your rival. Well, we don't want him to do it. So, your steward is there. We need to go like that. And I'll build legend too, because I don't give a shit. So your mother has been taking money from the treasury, apparently. We lost 7 gold. Alright, so the regency's ended, and you're just guiding for it. Not great, but better than what we had. We'll focus on war. That can improve. Designated regent. We're gonna go with Sabine. We have to marry. We can marry an African, which gets. Oh wow! I guess we're gonna marry an African. She doesn't like you. Anybody. She is a Catholic. Okay, so there are Catholics over there, but she's definitely not white. So your kids might come out like little tans. Pretty funny. Could you imagine? Irish kids are now tan. They're like super pale with them. And become king of Ireland. Now, what I'm going to do is... What's this over here? Oh wow. So that army is 1,000 strong. 1,500 strong. 592. I'm going to actually get a mercenary company to fight this war for me. I'm going to fight both of them at the same time. First, I'm going to declare war. We own them, so we have a claim, right? Those claims came back. Gains the chiefdom. And then we'll have to fight him too. Now, typically it's okay because we don't have that, but we're going to get the 225. We have 384. So now we have 159 left. And we still have much more than everybody else. And we're going to go straight there. Uh-oh. Alright, we're going to wait because everyone's just you just click around, fight. So our leader got severely injured and go to the head. Disfigured. Nobody's and right now we're just running around, preventing them from laying siege to our one county and trying to kill their army off. It's still too big. We can just run around following them. Oh no. Well, we have to get rid of your we have to get rid of the mercenaries. So now we're playing at 400 people. Alright, so we capture the count. When you do that, you automatically win the war. So now we have 2. So to go down there, we're laying siege to the whole thing. Now we have an infection. The wound, I said, was infected. It could get infected. It is very likely that he's going to die. So we have to be shy now. So we offer peace because we're 100% forced demands. So now we have the whole thing. We can actually keep imprisoning this guy for money. Your Chancellor really hates you. Why does he hate you? Well, because he's a title statement. Alright, well, we're going to change this guy out. So we have now somebody who isn't as good, but... Alright, good. So your wife's pregnant, so even if you die... Oh yeah, we can't do it. You should keep doing this until he's poor. He's got 54, so he can do a little more. This guy was excommunicated. He can't revoke his title. But your years be short. Alright, I'm gonna stop this here. You get the general gist. You just keep doing that. The more territory you get, you become a kingdom and whatnot. Anyway, I'll continue this later.